Pinto, and this is the recap summary for Wildfire June 2014 Wall Plane Flow. What we discussed in this concept class was changing our concept of our own wall plane and performing in our wall plane, our wheel plane, our ceiling floor planes, and starting to think about the audience's wall plane. If the audience is all right in front of me, that wall plane is equal to my wall plane when I'm facing them. But even as I move around, that wall plane is still right here. So this is still the audience's wall plane. This is the audience's wall plane. This is the audience's wall plane. And it changes the way we move if we're trying to stay for a period of time in that plane of existence for those watching us. So with that in mind, we started by trying different exercises of staying in this plane of existence, moving around, tossing the hoop, jumping through the hoop, all while keeping it with the audience's wall plane. This could even just be simple dance movements, moving the hoop around, and then we worked on moving our bodies around the hoop while the hoop stayed in that plane of existence. We also played with moving along a path, so keeping our hoops in this audience's wall plane while working our way across the field and back, installing. Talked about different techniques to change it up, working with folds and isolations, about stops and reverses to add rhythm. We talked about the different levels, our neutral plane, our low plane, our high plane, and moving through all of these with the different movements as we work in the audience's wall plane. And then we worked with partners, facing each other, imitating each other's movements, and staying within that plane of existence with them. Very similarly to working in a hallway, you know you're staying in a plane if you don't bump anything. If you run into your partner, or if you're in the hall, you run into the sides, you know that you've exited that wall plane and changed your angles. Not that you can never change your angles. It's really good to do that, but for the purpose of this exercise. So when we worked with partners, we were just imitating each other's movements, looking at the hoops. We did discuss a game for you to work on with other people you know at home, where we call an ISO or hoop off, and you can't break eye contact as the two of you move and do different things, trying to keep that eye contact with the other person, seeing who breaks. It's a fun exercise in your own focus, in interaction, and also with playing off of another person's movements. We then started thinking about different types of wall planes the audience might have. So far, we've been thinking about just the audience in front of us and one stable wall plane. But if the audience is in a half circle or in a V, if we have an audience on both sides, as in a basketball court, well, then we have a wall plane here and a wall plane on the other side. So we talked about how you can repeat movements. We played with the transition after we talked about some tosses, which was another class, we won't go into that. But for instance, catching on the outside, we had a reverse, which you could break directly into the exact same move for the other wall plane for the other side of the audience. So thinking about repeating your movements in different directions and interacting with different sections of those around you. And there's also very commonly an audience in this shape where they are all around you and you are in the middle, which means it's a circular wall. The wall keeps going, which means you have to acknowledge not just facing everybody, but what the other side of you is doing when they're watching you from behind. Your whole body becomes an even more integral part of your performance because it's more noticed. So we talked about moving our feet. We talked about what we're doing with our dead arms and keeping those moving. We don't want the floppy, and we don't want T-Rexes. They may have their place at times, but not for the whole performance. And then we did an exercise where we all stood in a circle, and two people at a time were in the middle. So two people in the middle of our circle, and they'd interact with each other, and then they had to go through the circle and interact with each person before tagging someone else into the middle. At the end, we just played some fun music and interacted with each other. This is a great exercise in getting used to moving around and seeing other people's planes, starting to think about somebody else's perception and their plane of existence, that wall plane from someone else, and also playing with other hoopers, not just hooping in the same area, but that absolute complete interaction and playing off each other's movements is a great way to get you out of a rut and to get some inspiration for new ideas. So that was a little bit off the class topic, but I thought it was a very, very valuable area we delved into. So thank you guys, it was so much fun. And so then we just had to add this little treat from what happened by the end of class.
Someone to pose, life is a piece of cake. With someone to pedal, someone to break, life is full of glee. With someone to solve, someone to see, someone by my side.